And a very good morning to you. Very welcome along to Tuesday morning's OTB AM. We're a little bit late this morning because we got distracted watching videos of old ads. Today's show is nothing other than a compilation of old ads, and I think you're going to like it.
It's a live wormhole, that's what today is. It's just, you don't need to go looking down YouTube today or get caught in the YouTube wormhole, as I say. We're going to do it for you. We've created a mechanic that you can just sit there, look at one YouTube video all morning, and it will feel like going down a YouTube wormhole. It's going to be the best show ever.
I have a minor bone to pick. We're calling this the World Cup of Irish Sports Endorsements, as opposed to Irish Sports Endorsements bracket. I mean,
well, yeah, it's not a World Cup at all. In fact, it's very much an Irish Cup. There are a few non-Irish people in it, but they're honorary Irish people, in fairness.
Jack Charlton.
Yeah. For example. But yeah, that would have been a better idea. But it's too late now, Ger. It's already gone up. It's already been tweeted that it is the World Cup of Irish Sporting Endorsements. So
well, let's have a look at some of the stuff that didn't make the cut. This stuff wasn't actually good enough.
This stuff wasn't good enough. It was a long and arduous process to actually get to the best 16. We're going to start with 16. We might do it again later down the track. If
we could totally make 32, it turns out.
So basically the criteria for being included in the World Cup of Irish Sporting Endorsements was A, you're an Irish sports person, B, you're in a TV ad, and C, you're available on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, well then sorry, you're not included. You didn't exist. Simple as that. So here's one that didn't make the cut. Here is Darrow Canada talking about some cholesterol-induced substance.
Oh, we've hit pause.
Where I'm standing, Lynch is a mine.
The goat is the king.
And a rose is a beautiful girl.
A curry maid is a deliciously creamy curry spread.
A dolphin is a man's best friend. Kerry is the kingdom.
Where curry maid is made.
Discover the true taste of Kerry.
Breaks my heart that we had to leave that one out, but there just isn't enough Darrow Canada in it. That was the main reason.
It's too short.
It's too short. It's literally a 2-second one, which is also the same reason why we left out this one. This is another kind of languid style, beautiful setting sort of ad, but there is literally no words in it. It's actually, it's quite artisan, this ad. It's a Sidona ad featuring Sean Kelly.
Ah, no, there was a longer version.
Oh, was there? Well, it's not on YouTube, so it doesn't exist.
Ah, that's class. There was a longer version where he doesn't speak. I'm pretty sure. Maybe he says something like, Sidona. something.
Jadoris Sidona.
Yeah, there was definitely a longer version where he's kind of going up hills and down hills. It's like all filmed around Carrick. But there are some cycling ones later on.
There are, yes.
One which like just brought this flood of nostalgia back. I was literally like, I totally forgot about this ad.
It seems like the cheese ads are the ones that are going to make a lot of people nostalgic today. There's a couple of them later on. We did say at the top of the show that you do have to be an Irish person to get into this. You have to be an honorary Irish person like Jack Charlton. But there's some honorary Irish people who aren't quite honorary enough. Toto Schillaci is one of them.
This should definitely made it.
Well, let's have a look at it. This is the Smithwick's ad with Schillaci from, of course, sometime around 1991.
Smithwick's. Questa birra è molto buona. Vedi come la schiuma resta fino al fondo del bicchiere? È quello che si chiama lacing. Eccezionale, eh?
Italians?
Yes. I'm Giovanni. And this is my friend, Giorgio.
I'm Ray Houghton. And this is my friend, Dave O'Leary.
Sorry, I forget to introduce my other friend. Toto Schillaci.
Che sono questi? Good goal.
Thank you very much.
That's clearly, obviously, way later than Italianati. That one is clearly from this century. It's
but it's before his hair grew back as well.
Yeah, it's miraculous timing there. It's sorry, but I just couldn't include it. Couldn't include Schillaci.
Ah, come on, it's amazing.
Like we can give Jack Charlton a pass.
I think that's legitimately one of the great Irish sports ads of all time. Like, it's right up there with the other beer one, which I think is going to win this whole competition, which I've decided I'm putting all my money into the one that was made by Letty Abramson.
Yeah, well, I don't like the sort of kind of pushing your agenda here, because the decision is up to the public, of course.
We can lead the witness.
Yeah, like you will be voting.
Is it too late to knock one of the crappy ones out and put that one in?
There is no crappy ones. All the ones that have made the last 16 are amazing. They are the best 16 Irish sporting ads ever made. no argument about it.
No, because that ad is perfect in that it pokes fun at us in a beautiful way, and then everybody ends up happy in the end.
Look, if you get it,
and I think it's the Gravediggers. I think that was filmed in the Gravediggers. So like that's
was it,
Super
yeah?
Bowl. It looks a bit like the.
if there's enough of a clamour to get that ad included, then we may include it. But for the time being, unless I see there's an actual thirst from the public for a bit of Toto Schillaci Smithix action, then I'm sorry, it's not making the last 16. This one is also definitely not making the last 16. It is a newspaper. It is an Irish rugby legends. Have a look at this.
6 teams in the 5 nations. It's still all about passion. That's what holds a team together, and it means everybody can play to their strengths.
The Irish Times, for the times we live in.
For the times we live in, indeed.
There's another couple of Irish Times ones.
They were good old times. There will be more Irish Times a little bit later on. I have no recollection of that.
When I see it there, I remember it now. But yeah, 6 teams in the 5 nations.
That's just a brilliant line. I really hope that was Brian's line himself. Just missed the cut. It was so close to making it, closer than Schillaci.
So that must be around 03 or 04. Is it? When did we go from 5 to 6?
It's about 15 years. 15 years old. When the 5 or 6 nations joke was still kind of funny, you presume 2003 direction. Probably 2005, then it was just like, all right, we get it.
I should also point out that we were inadvertently involved in a row between Dan McDonnell and Darragh Breen last night on Twitter. This was funny. Darragh Breen tweeted about how he'd been watching Cian Lynch. We interviewed Cian Lynch yesterday out in City West. Maura Trassa went out, gave him her phone. He stuck his earphones in on Skype. And then we WhatsApped him the photograph that was on the back of the Times Ireland edition yesterday of him and his mum meeting on the field, which in retrospect is pretty amazing given how militant the security were, that she managed to slip through the security. And then yesterday on Pat Kenny, about an hour later, we found out from Kieran Carey that after the 5-minute final in '94, the first person to reach Kieran Carey to console him, actually we can have a listen to this. Here is Kieran Carey explaining this. Have a listen.
I see a lovely picture this morning, actually. Cian Lynch's mother, Valerie, who's my sister, and she's given him a big hug. And I can remember '96, she was the first person I met on the field, and it was a total opposite. So it's kind of ironic. And that picture at the time at the front of the Limerick leader as well. So, it was fantastic for him.
96, all right, not 94. Apologies about that, I hadn't heard that before. So she's pretty good at getting onto the field of play. So fair play to Valerie. But anyway, so it was a nice little moment, and Cian looks at the photograph and goes, oh God. And then Darragh Breen tweeted this last night, I think during the middle of the match, the Liverpool game. Lovely moment off the ball when they were interviewing Limerick midfielder Cian Lynch about his mother's pitch invasion. That's a great photo that's really in the paper. I haven't seen it. We've just sent it to your WhatsApp. Ah, God. Doesn't happen in soccer. Dan wasn't having that, so Dan fired back at him. Yeah, it's a well-established fact that the soccer lads don't even like to share special moments with their families. He wasn't the only one, in fairness, who was saying this. A lot of people were like, oh, ridiculous comment, delete your account. And then loads of people started tweeting him the picture of Robbie Brady celebrating with his family after the goal against Italy. And, I think there's probably a bit of right on both sides in this.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly, you can't suggest that somebody doesn't want to be with their family the moment after a significant sporting moment. Similarly, the chances of a moment like that happening on a show where it's like, check your WhatsApp there, we've sent you a photo, blah, blah, blah. I do think the chances of that are less. But yeah, as you say, kind of right on both sides. You're laughing there as if there's like more follow-up to this.
Well, I'm just it's hard to go up against Darragh Breen because he's a comedian, and his job is to make words be funny and entertain people. So sorry to see some soccer fans get all head up about that comment. Actually, no. Hilarious to see some comments like, well, actually, footballer X once celebrated with his mother, so there. Relax, lads, all sports have their joys. This was just a lovely GA moment. And then the next one was, my timeline is full of angry soccer fans. I write about an earlier tweet. Lads, I have seats in Croker and the Emirates. Humble brag, not so humble brag. I love both sports. Mainly, though, I just want to clarify, yes, soccer players and fans are incapable of normal human love. Closes computer, sleeps soundly. Brackets.
He always tends to kind of court a bit of controversy around big hurling matches. Do you remember a couple of years ago, he was on Twitter, he was like, why do people keep coming up and asking me for photographs while I'm trying to chat to my mates? No, I will not stand and take a picture with you while I'm chatting, having a pint and trying to catch up with my mates. It was after some hurling All-Ireland semi-final. It's kind of like the last time I remember a lot of people kind of having a go at Darragh O'Brien on Twitter. So just the hurling, it's just polarising.
Suddenly all of the soccer fans stopped buying tickets for his Vicar Street shows.
Yeah, the
He'd
hurling...
only do 12 nights instead of 18.
The term hurling snob has now penetrated the English vernacular, which is going to be great. I hope they're all kind of describing Darragh O'Brien as a hurling snob over the next couple of weeks.
Well, he's an Arsenal fan, so you can kind of see that it's the same, right?
Well, they are, you know. Arsenal fans are certainly snobbish. Whether or not they're snobbish about hurling is a completely different scenario.
Do we have any more ads?
Not for it. We've got tons of them later on for the actual World Cup of sporting endorsements. Your votes are required to vote for your favourite. There's going to be, Jers clearly nailed his colours to the mast with a beer ad coming up a little bit later on, which I think is probably a Carlsberg ad. And I'm not sure what I'm going for myself. There's a lot of nostalgia coming. That's all I'm going to say.
There was a sweet period between September 2001 and the plane leaving Dublin for the World Cup in 2002, where we had Roy Keane in the peak of his powers. We had Damien Duff and Robbie Keane as like the two hottest young talents in the Premier League. We had a bunch of players who could play at a very high level, who were kind of cresting into the form of their lives. Sheahan was one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League at the time as well, where we actually thought that maybe it might be possible that we could do something ridiculous at the World Cup, because, you know, we'd seen Roy Keane do ridiculous things on his own over the course of that campaign, and then this ad came out where we win the World Cup. I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened, ever.
Yeah, it's basically what the BBC did before this year's World Cup, when they did that news package where that England were going to win the World Cup.
Yeah, but like, this is, you know, CGI in 2001, 2002, when they're making this, is not CGI in 2018, where any doofus on an iPad can like make the Eiffel Tower be on the moon or whatever.
They could make Independence Day on an iPad today. Pretty
much, and send a rocket to the moon. And back then it was like, how did they even do that? Look, he's just scored a goal against Brazil. I recognise that goal actually. Yeah. So anyway,
so you got completely duped, is what you're saying. Maybe the rest of the public weren't like that.
We allowed ourselves to go, and then Saipan happened, and like life was never the same afterwards. So what's coming up for you? Well, about an hour of watching YouTube. About an hour of us watching YouTube. You're going to be watching us for about an hour. It's like the future of the internet, I think. I mean, apparently it's been a big deal for about a decade. So we're going to talk with Breach Corkery a little bit later on as well. Back after quite a while on the sidelines. That was one of the big stories coming through from the weekend's camogie matches. And we are also talking about the reaction in Limerick. And Darren's going to be here with a roundup of all the sports news. Let's take you through the papers.
OTB AM.
Thanks to Screwfix.ie. Championing the trade with a dedicated call centre.
Okay, so we will start this morning with the Times Ireland edition. The front page is Declan Hannon in Limerick. It looks like that's outside the train station. They obviously were on an open-top bus tour and then finished at the Gaelic grounds. And at the back page is a mirror photograph, really. It's Declan Hannon. Again, this time it is at the Gaelic grounds from light into darkness. What an evening it must have been in Limerick. Limerick, a great sporting city, kind of, coming out of the shadows over the last while. Neville, Jose undermined by Woodward just by sitting there. The very act of sitting in his seat for 2 minutes at full time after his team had been beaten, humiliated by Brighton, by Ed Woodward, just sitting there in public, has enraged Gary Neville.
Yeah, he was saying that he shouldn't have just sat there and, sulked. He should have got up, shaken the opposite chairman's hand, said, we'll see you later on in the season, and got the hell out of there. That there is a common thought now that Ed Woodward is very much trying to make a point by just sitting there. It's amazing. I wish I had the power that if I could just sit there, people will talk about it. And people talking about me just sitting there makes back page headlines. I wish I was that powerful. Ed Woodward clearly wields a lot of power these days.
It's funny that Neville's so on the Jose train, isn't it?
Yes, he is. I'm just trying to recall what he was actually saying last night.
And so
it was...
the minute Ed Woodward gave Mourinho a contract extension in January, he had to buy him centre-backs. Alderweireld and Maguire would have been good options. If that cost 120 million, that's what you have to do. Neville said there was a rift between Mourinho and his boss. from a board perspective, it's been messy these last 2 weeks. I think of the briefing that Ed Woodward gave journalists about why United were not going to spend any more money the day before the Leicester game, which undermines Jose Mourinho. I mean, that is a fair point, actually. So maybe he's not so much
I think it's just a train of logic. That being said, there was a lot of love for Jose, or maybe just a lot of disrespect for Ed Woodward in that studio last night, because Jamie Carragher was on saying that, you know, this will be the worst moment in Manchester United's season, that they will never be as bad as they were on Sunday. Manchester United will still, over the course of the season, be one of the best defences in the Premier League. And you do wonder if cracks were starting to show at the weekend. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were saying that Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof are not the way forward. Like, can you trust Jones and Smalling to step into that void and suddenly turn them into one of the Premier League's best defences? I'm not so sure, but there was a degree of certainty with the way Jamie Carragher was saying that last night.
There's a story in all the papers today. Shamrock Rovers and Manchester City have agreed a deal of €400,000 for Gavin Bazunu. Pro 14 chief plays down final fears. So Martin Anai, the chief executive of Pro 14 Championship, insisted yesterday he's not concerned with security issues ahead of next year's grand final at Celtic Park, which is scheduled to take place in the same day and in the same city as the Scottish Cup final. So Rangers and Celtic will probably be at Hampden Park hours before, near Celtic Park, and they're saying that there's no security issues. I don't really think there are security issues, are there? It's not like it's the first time that Rangers and Celtic have played in a big match in Scotland and the Scottish police are like, oh wow, these sets of fans really don't like each other. Jeez, we should have got some preparation in for this.
I'm trying to think what scenario would actually cause trouble.
Rangers fans go on the rampage to try and attack
Irish rugby fans.
Leinster Munster fans. Like, come on. I mean, if the Rangers hooligans get it together to do that after the Scottish Cup final, well then you'd have to be like, well, at least you're a bit more well read than I thought.
Well, while you're getting punched in the face, like, wow, this is actually a rather heartening experience.
Okay, so this is not the end, it's the beginning. Kylie looks to the future as Limerick welcome home conquering heroes. There's a lot of talk about the future already with Limerick, and you know, that's pretty amazing that they're even thinking about that as opposed to just going completely crazy. I'd say there'll be a bit of craziness and a bit of wildness for the next while.
Have they gone to bed, I wonder?
They were pretty fresh. Some of them were pretty fresh. The ones who were down for breakfast were pretty fresh yesterday.
Well, yes, Monday's a big day though.
You actually get to go home.
Yeah, you've got a lot of things to do. You've got to, but now they get into their own bed last night, or perhaps not. It's like 8 a.m. I would say they're still out. They often say that, you know, it's like day 2, day 3, day 4 of the All-Ireland celebrations, which are actually the best. It's when finally the madness has died down, when it's just you and the players left in a quiet corner of some pub. If there is a quiet corner in any pub in Limerick this week, I'll be very surprised. But it gets better and better and better as the week goes on, and I presume the bio clock just gets later and later and later. Yeah, so look, it's revelling in the success of Limerick. There's a glorious 5, 6, 7 pages of various Limerick-related content. It's all brilliant from the Examiner this morning. And Mike Quirk saying, hurling can't be Gaelic football's barometer. Because, you know, if we just look at football and hurling as like the two things that are side by side, well, you know, it's going to be very hard for us to continue watching football and loving football the way we do, because hurling is just a far superior sport. Yes, but you have to look at the divergent paths over the last few years, the last 15 years. It's kind of like being a Manchester United fan and not allowing yourself to compare yourself to Manchester City. You're so far along your own divergent path at this point that there's no point. You've got a lot of rowing back to do before you can get anywhere near that other thing, which is what Gaelic football's relationship is with hurling at the moment. Lancaster, this is cold. Carberry is not my concern anymore. We have moved on. Stuart Lancaster's talking about the fact that he did actually speak with Joey Carberry, tried to convince him not to go. I spoke to him as everybody else did, but ultimately it's down to the player to make a decision. I haven't spoke with him since. It's his call. I've said all along it'll be the player's decision, and he made it. In my mind, it doesn't immediately go back to what if this, what if that. My mind goes, right, what's next? And so then he talks about Harry Byrne coming through, who is Ross Byrne's younger brother, apparently the more talented younger brother, as is always the case in Irish sport. So, but that's quite a burden for young Harry Byrne to bear. And this is not the end, it's the beginning, says John Kiley. So obviously Kiley did a sit down with the Daily Print journalist yesterday and was saying all the right things. Obviously the Tyrone, Mickey Hart not talking to RTE story is on the back pages of a lot of papers and inside a lot of the papers today. Generally, I think too much is made of this. There's a sense of entitlement sometimes with our national broadcaster that no harm getting punctured from time to time. Marching on, Leeds to maintain their perfect start under boss Bielsa. I mean, it's not underreported in that it's been widely reported, but like Leeds off to a flyer here. This guy is a legend in world football,
And I was thinking about this. If you want to own a Premier League team, you could buy a crappy Premier League team at an inflated price, or you can buy a team who's in the Championship who are a sleeping giant for not that much and spend a little bit of money to get them promoted, put structures in place, and all of a sudden, presto, you've got a Premier League team, which is what the new Leeds owners are doing, what the new Villa owners are trying to do.
You have to negotiate an incredibly tough division, though.
Yeah, and actually it's becoming one of the best and most interesting leagues in the world because it has promotion and relegation. Like, everything matters all of the season, and the gap between like 10th and the drop and 10th and the final playoff place is really good, and there's so much money washing through that division as well. Carry on flat racing, Ballinrobe hails reprieve. So there were some doubts about the future of Ballinrobe as a venue for flat racing after a couple of horses had thrown their mounts coming around the home bend in a 1 mile 2 furlong handicap recently, and then after racing was abandoned recently enough there, but apparently an IHRB meeting gave the go-ahead for racing to continue at Ballinrobe, so that's pretty good for that.
On the back page of the Herald this morning, it's Tyrone keep up boycott. Hart confirms Red Hands will not do any interviews with RTE. And you've also got Corkman Lane to ref Dub's final, so it's going to be his second All-Ireland final, I think. Conor Lane to Corkman. It's September the 2nd, and if you look at the rest of the officials, you've got, the ones that they've overlooked: Maurice Deegan, Joe McQuillan, David Coldrick, David Goff. David Goff is going to be standby referee for the big day. Lane, of course, refereed the 2016 drawn All-Ireland final.
They call him Dublin Joe or Kerry Joe or what's
Clearly not Kerry Joe, obviously Dublin Joe. Jesus, that's the most offensive thing I've ever heard. That he could be even level. He could even be leveled with that sort of compliment. Back page of the Irish. Imagine what Tyrone would do if Joe McQuillan was named to referee this final.
Should the
They would
referees
boycott the GEA as well as RTE?
Should the referees have to declare every time they referee challenge matches for inter-county teams?
Yeah.
Do they? Do you think do the referees' central body get notified? Okay, I'm doing the Dubs, I'm doing Tyrone, or should the All-Ireland final referee the week of the game, or once it's announced between now and next week, should they go and do training sessions with both teams and say, this is how I'm going to referee, lads?
Yeah, maybe. That seems like a far too futuristic idea for the GEA to implement, though, doesn't it? Doesn't seem like improving refereeing is very, very high on the agenda, does it? It's a good idea, though.
I'd say we're not that far away from referees there being a situation where referees are also games development officers who actually work for the Leinster Council or the Central Council or the Munster Council, whatever, and us finding a situation where the referees are not professional because they're refereeing as volunteers, but actually they are employees in their day job of the GAA, and that overnight the quality of refereeing will improve.
But what about those legitimate games promotion officers, the people who want to just do that and not be referees? Like, you're taking up certain jobs, you're taking up a certain amount of funding.
A small portion of them.
It's a large enough fee. You're paying salaries, are you, for 7 or 8 referees?
Yeah, but when you think about it, the GA has loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of money. They can completely afford to have an extra 10, 15 employees.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's all you need.
I think it cheapens the idea of the games promotion officer role.
You could still be a games promotion officer. You could be an excellent. Chances are, if you want to be a referee, you're also really into your GAA, right?
Yeah. Well, I'd
prefer
a games promotion officer to be. I wouldn't like them to get an easier path into the games promotion officer kind of scene by being a good referee.
Okay. Wait. That's a bit weird.
Why is that weird?
Why do you care?
Because being a games promotion officer should be about
something that you really like and that you're good at.
That you're good at.
I'm sure that.
And I think refereeing and being good at looking at the wider structure of coaching in a certain area of the country doesn't go hand in hand. They're very different things, no?
I think we've gone down a wormhole here.
Yeah, maybe we have, but I don't know. It's saying that games promotion officers and referees should be inextricably linked to this. Now that's weird. Back page of the Irish Daily Star is Klopp marks Poole's perfect start continues. Kieran Cunningham. You've also got Jose Still heading for a bust up. This is an exclusive by Jeremy Cross. He says Jose Mourinho is on a collision course with Manchester United bosses over Anthony Martial.
Is that an exclusive? I mean, is it just this specifically that it's over Martial?
it just says that it's specifically over Martial. It says Martial may leave, blah, blah, blah. United boss is adamant that he's not good enough and wants to sell him to raise funds for new signings in January, but Woodward disagrees and is refusing to flog Martial on the cheap. I think we kind of knew a lot of those details previously, to be honest. Back page of the Irish Daily Mirror is mown down. Palace in rage as Salah tumbles to win controversial little penalty and set Reds on course for vital victory. It's hard to know whether or not that was a dive last night. It seems that, given some of the coverage this morning, Salah clearly made the most of it. There's absolutely no question about it. But I think it's quite clear Milivojevic did make contact with his foot.
Yeah, it's the theatrical way that he falls like an extra from a silent movie in the 20s. Could I get the Star, please? There was a headline. It's either in the Star or the Sun that I just want to get. You can.
The rest on the back page of the Mirror is best yet to come. And the Irish Daily Mail then this morning is home at last. Limerick's ecstatic fans welcome back heroes of greatest All Ireland's ever won. You've also got Neville takes swipe at Woodward there as well, says Chris Wheeler on the back page of the Irish Daily Mail. The Sun then is shirt hits the fan. Legend Neville and blasted Ed, and Jose is safe for now. You can also see Alexis Sanchez now. Sanch slammed. Alexis Sanchez was slated by Manchester United fans for launching his clothing range the day after their shock Brighton defeat. They branded him a maggot and the ultimate mercenary, as he ended up removing himself from the squad, it seemed.
I mean, it's funny, one guy on Twitter calls him a maggot, and
it gets widely reported.
Well, it's the back page lead on the Sun. So, tab of the morning to you is Liquor Bocker Glory. So this is the story that I think it was Shane Dowling was doing interviews yesterday. He was saying that the 99 van would pull up to training during the summer at Limerick, and they'd all have ice creams on the pitch.
This year?
Yeah. And that after every match they went out and everybody celebrated together, management and players, and that meant they could have a few pints if they wanted to, if you were a drinker or whatever, it was your own choice, but that there wasn't a drinks ban from January until December, and that he's basically saying that there was proper fun in being an eternity player as opposed to that sense of I have to make this sacrifice on behalf of me, my family, my parish, and a God I don't believe in. Like, he was like, actually it's good cracks. I like playing intercounty hurling.
That's true, because I would have thought a 99 would have scuppered any All-Ireland hopes straight away. I thought
a single one.
A one I thought would have been at the end of the season. I'm very surprised actually to hear that they had one ice cream and they managed to get out of that round robin group in Munster.
Are the Armagh footballers having 99s of training, do you think?
No way, they can't be. They absolutely can't be.
There might be some protein, some avocado ice cream like Tom Brady has.
The Daily Telegraph is this Crystal Palace story again. Crystal Palace nil Liverpool 2. Salah in dive row. Liverpool striker accused over penalty decision as Klopp's side defeat 10-man Palace. And the same thing on the back of the Guardian then. Picture perfect. Liverpool keep pace with City thanks to Milner and Mane as Wan-Bissaka sees red for battling Palace.
Yeah. All right. So that's your newspapers this morning. What was that, Tommy? There you go. He's telling me what's coming up next. Stolly Regan and Tommy Walsh talking about their hurlers of the year. It's not a very straightforward thing now. This is, I think, the most open hurler of the year contest that we've had.
Yeah,
in quite a long time.
I'm happy to see Shane Stapleton on Twitter yesterday
not having a clue.
Well, giving the shout for Mulcahy, who I thought was like because having watched very very intently the semi-final and final, it's like
you're ruining the video.
Oh,
tell Eoin he's ruining the video.
But I'm talking about a tweet. I'm not talking about anything in the content of the video. You can go to the video and we can talk about it after if you want.
So my hurler of the year, like we'll say, if there was no winners, Pádraig Mannion would definitely be on, one of my top two. From the Limerick point of view, it's hard to really know because you have to go back through all them players. But thinking back on it and going back and through, the guy he was nearly kind of finished and kind of a sub type of a player in the last few years, Graham Mulcahy. I thought he was brilliant all year, and I always mention that when you're on top, like you need your older guys, your top guys to be really leading and showing the way because they give you the confidence. It's just something about an older player and that. And I thought from the first game of the championship, he has led the way, Graham Mulcahy. And to show his resilience, where he came from, like he was there for a few of those losses. So for him to come back and still do it with all these young fellas on board all year long. It's between Pádraig Mannion and Graham Mulcahy, but as Limerick are champions after so many matches, I feel it has to be a Limerick lad. And I definitely would give it to Graham Mulcahy on everything. The other thing as well is he was great at defending, hooking and blocking as well. And listen, he got the winning score. And no matter what way you look at it, even though Peter Casey was the lad that chased down the Galway defender, he's the guy that had to put the ball over the bar. How many people's lives did he change? Because a game like that changes lives, especially the way Limerick won it. So Graham Mulcahy, on the biggest stage of all, at the biggest moment of all, he did it. And he's my hurler of the year.
Yeah. Dahi, you've made it clear Joe Canny not getting the nod from you this year, although I know you admire him.
Not anti-Joe. I mean, the guy's a sensation.
I know, yeah.
I've been into every single Galway game, including the first one in Tullamore against Offaly, where Joe sat in his armchair for the game. He didn't need to do anything else. Yeah. And we were looking at him that night going, you see when they come up against the bigger boys what this guy can do. So, don't get me wrong, the guy's a sensational hurler. But I've seen every game this year. I was at every single game this year. Dahi Burke, Pádraig Mannion and David Burke gave some of the great exhibitions that I've seen this year, but wheeling up front. But for me, the first three mentioned Galway players, every game, they were just outstanding from start to finish. And that's what, if you're judging a player, and that's what you should judge a player on for Player of the Year.
And your overall hurler of the year?
I'd say the same for Mulcahy. But I'll tell you who I've seen all bar the Limerick player game. Cian Lynch, to me, was just unreal. His touches, his flicks and the whole thing. They got him into a position midfield. They've been playing him up front before. Maturity beyond belief for a young kid. I mean, to me, just a pleasure watching him. Did he do some of the things that Dahi Burke did during the course of the year? I'd probably give it to David Burke, to be honest with you, if I was to give it to the All-Ireland losers, because he played like a captain. I just thought he was absolutely extraordinary.
It's the sign of a great season when so many players are actually in contention for the Player of the Year. It might also be the same case with the football. We'll have to wait a couple of weeks to have that conversation properly. In the meantime, let's bring you up to date on everything that's going on in the world of sport. Darren is here this morning. How are you?
Morning, Ger. Very well. The Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says it is too soon to talk about them being contenders for the Premier League title. His side won 2-0 at Crystal Palace last night to back up an opening day victory over West Ham. James Milner's penalty and Sadio Mane's late strike sealed a 2-0 win for the Reds, much to the dismay of Roy Hodgson. He was not happy. He bemoaned the penalty and was not pleased with the sending off of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Manager Jurgen Klopp was pleased, though, with his side's performance, but he's trying to dampen expectations. He has dismissed talk of the title.
Scored the goals in the right moment. I said it already a few times, was for sure not the best game in our common history, but it was really special, because who follows us and watches us a bit more often knows average games we usually tend to lose. No, it's not too cool, and tonight it was for sure not our best game, and so but we were still winning. That's cool, and really happy about that.
Yeah, if you're going to challenge City or beat City to the title, these sort of games are the ones you've got to win, huh?
We don't think about that, to be honest, so how can we then talk about it? We challenge each Premier League team. Next week Brighton, then Leicester, then Tottenham, I think, after international break. So that's a lot games to come, and nothing that we think about over the next game already. We only work, and we have enough to do. How you saw tonight, it was, how is that, not brilliant. It was good in moments. Defensively, a lot of times really good. Offensively, we can do much better. But I'm fine with that for tonight.
They're totally contenders. A 2-0 win away at Crystal Palace, where you dog it out like that, means they're proper contenders this year in a way that they haven't been in previous seasons.
And they're going to win the Premier League. I think that... What?
Man City?
No, Liverpool.
You think Liverpool going to win the Premier League?
Yeah, I really do. I just think they're taking the necessary leap forward on this year. I think they've got the head-to-head edge over Manchester City, which of course means very little in the grand scheme of things with 38 games. I've just got a good feeling about the Liverpool team this year. I think
you've got a glint in your eye.
I can't believe the contenders line has come out so soon. That's usually the stuff of the most delusional aspect of Liverpool fans. Contenders after 2 games.
It's more to do with pre-season, to be honest, rather than...
Oh, it's what they had last year. It's the fact that they fixed all of their problems. Anytime they've had a problem. So not creative enough in midfield, they signed Keita, okay, they only got him into the team now. Not a good goalkeeper, they got a better goalkeeper. Not good centre-back, they got a centre-back. Is Mo Salah still the same striker as he was last season? Absolutely. Have they got enough strength and depth to be able to deal with some of the injuries that they got last season? I think it looks like they. I mean, look, if Salah goes down, they're completely screwed in a way that Man City can take the De Bruyne injury and survive. But also, they've just got a manager who has decided, I understand exactly what this team and this club needs. They've got an identity.
They look like they could win a competition this year. I'm just not so sure it will be the Premier League.
I think Man City are going to win the Premier League, but I think that finally there is a team who should be able to dog it out away at Palace in a way that Man United can't do. I don't think Chelsea are going to be able to dog it out over the course of the season because their defence is just a little bit too flaky at the moment. Chelsea are going to be brilliant to watch, I think. But Liverpool look like they have all of the accoutrements required for a team to sustain a challenge.
Yeah, like I'm...
That's still a sceptical head.
Like
no, I would like to...
finish second.
Probably, but it's the other contenders are way more unknown. United will probably change manager in the next month or two, so that will completely probably throw them out of kilter. And it's just about finding the best of the rest. I do think it will be City, and the old cliche of it might be City's easiest title win.
Yeah, that's fair enough. 'Cause I would have.
Yeah, the easiest.
I would have thought that Liverpool. I'm not sure.
Tottenham haven't been mentioned once in this conversation. Do you not think Tottenham are in there?
No.
Really, not at all.
Not at the moment. No.
The Liverpool depth should see them through sticky situations where they got done last year. Like that was a game even last year that they might not have won. 2 years ago, certainly they wouldn't have won it. So that's certainly a leap they've made. The one thing I would say is that Manchester City seem to have also made a little bit of a leap forward this year as well. Like wait till Kevin De Bruyne comes back into that team and they haven't lost any ground. If they've got a lead on Liverpool and Kevin De Bruyne comes back into the team, then my viewpoint will change completely. I do think that Liverpool have a serious edge about them this year with the addition of Cade, with the addition of Alisson, which is clear. Like he was brilliant last night. Like when he was required, they ground out that win, and I think players like James Milner this year could be even more important to them than they were last year to Liverpool. Also as well, Joe Gomez last night, like as a centre half alongside Virgil van Dijk, that could be out of nowhere the Liverpool centre half pairing that we kind of thought wasn't really going to happen. That we thought, okay, Gomez on the right or whatever it may be, but that may emerge as kind of one of the most unexpected storylines of this year. I think they've got a hell of a chance.
Yeah, the addition of a quality goalkeeper helps, and one of them on the way out is Loris Karius, looks set to join Besiktas on a 2-year loan deal. The Turkish club will pay a fee to the Reds for around €3 million for that 2-year spell, with the option to buy for €8 million in 2019. The German made 2 very costly errors in the Champions League final defeat to Real Madrid in Kiev. It appears that may have been his last competitive game in a Liverpool jersey. He returned for pre-season, had a number of mistakes in friendlies, and then the club spent at the time a world record fee on the Roma goalkeeper Alisson. Karius set to join Besiktas, with Mignolet replacing him as the backup. Interestingly, Karius, who was number 1 last season, ended up going cheaper, it appears, than Danny Ward, who made just 2 appearances in that time. He joined Leicester for $14 million in the summer. Here at home, Dundalk have opened up a 3-point advantage at the top of the SSE Electricity League table. Stephen Kenny's side were 2-0 winners at the hands of Sligo Rovers. Michael Duffy opened the scoring before Pat Hooban netted his 24th league goal of the season. The win moves the Lilywhites 3 clear of Cork City, and to further compound the champions' misery, Dundalk still have a game in hand. Well, an estimated 90,000 people packed the streets of Limerick last night to welcome home their All-Ireland hurling champions. Fans toasted the success and the arrival of Liam McCarthy for the first time in 45 years. The manager, John Kiley, has been paying tribute to the people of Limerick.
They've been through a lot over the last 40 years, on a sporting capacity and maybe even in a social capacity. And over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen a gradual rising of the tides, Thomond Park, Gaelic grounds, UL, our city centre, our county as a whole, and we're in a great place as a county and as a people, and I'm just so delighted for them. Thank you for all the support in the lead up to the final all year long. I salute them all and I congratulate them and I tell them, go in and have a great party tonight. They'll dance to anything tonight, and yeah, listen, they're going to have a great time, and we don't know what's ahead of us. None of us know. We haven't ever been through it, and We'll take it one step at a time, and we'll enjoy every bit of it along the way. We've worked really, really hard, and I think we've made our luck this year, and we've got a lot out of it.
Class. It's just class.
Really nice remarks, weren't they?
Like I was going to say, this must be the biggest public gathering we've had in this country for a long, long time, and it's like, well, that's going to be like scratched off this weekend or something, which is such a shame. But oh god, I'm just so happy for everybody in Limerick just to get to experience this, and even the honesty there from John Kiley saying that we really don't know what's going to happen next. Like you can kind of be the big man all you want and say we've got the structures in place to defend this now, to do it properly, to learn from what the other mistakes people have made. But ultimately,
who cares?
who cares? First of all, and who knows? Nobody knows. Enjoy this. Like it's just been delightful scenes. Really, like the jubilation of which I don't think a country's got behind in quite some time.
I grew up around the Croke Park area, and the streets before the final, I don't remember anything like it. They were packed. The feel-good factor was immense. It felt like there was another 40,000 people around there on that day. They were just magnificent, the Limerick fans, and you'd just be so happy for them. And the delight, the sheer unbridled joy that they had, it was a really, really feel-good All-Ireland final.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Norwich believe that putting away teams in a pink dressing room will help them win matches this season. The changing rooms have been painted a deep pink colour because some studies suggest it has a calming effect and can lower testosterone levels. Prisons in Switzerland are painted pink for that very reason. And painting the opposition dressing rooms in the colour, not an original idea. The University of Iowa have previously done it in an attempt to give them the upper hand against their visitors. In their 2 games at Carrow Road this season, though, the Canaries have lost 4-3 to West Brom, but beaten League 2 side Stevenage in the Carabao Cup.
Do we know how Iowa State got on in those games?
I think it became quite controversial because some lawmakers suggested it was homophobic to have pink dressing rooms because the manager said pink was a sissy colour and would upset the other team. So I think it might have actually been banned doing that to the dressing room.
Wow, I didn't expect that dark turn to the
Didn't see that one coming.
No.
Finally to rugby. Leinster, the big winners at the Guinness Pro 14 end of season awards. They dominated the Team of the Year category. 5 players made that selection. Andrew Porter, Scott Fardy, Jack Conan, James Lowe and Jordan Larmour. The Leinster head coach Leo Cullen, the coach of the year for their success in guiding them to the Pro 14 title. Larmour, the young player of the year, but the player of the year award went to a Munster man. Tyg Byrne has just arrived. He saw off competition from Leinster's James Lowe and his former Scarlets teammate Hadley Parks.
Darn good stuff. Thanks very much for that. Now, we did bring you some brilliant reaction from the City West Hotel yesterday morning as Declan Hannon and Cian Lynch spoke to us from the hotel lobby. We also caught up with Shane Dowling, who was live from his own bed. Maura Trassa followed the team around yesterday as they went on their victory tour, ending up in the Gaelic grounds. We're going to see some of the scenes here from one of the great GAA traditions, the visit to Crumlin Children's Hospital.
Eoin County War.
Did you get a chance to get your son here?
Yeah. You do what you want. You're a nurse.
Fitting inside the cup. Just about. I don't think any team could ask for a better group of ambassadors and people to represent them and just generally to kind of represent all of us.
Yeah, definitely. It's if you could send kind of an embassy on tour to sort of kind of represent Gaelic games to people abroad, you'd probably pick the Limerick Hurlers, wouldn't you?
Yeah, at the moment, definitely. Here is the team walking out in the Gaelic grounds. Have a look at this. I could actually just watch hours and hours of this footage of Limerick being happy in the aftermath of... It is when famines end that this matters so much.
Yeah, definitely. It's just class. So we got Kylie and we got the captain, Hannon. All dressed the same, of course.
This is what it felt for you guys in '97, was it? I've full 12 years.
I've been part of an All-Ireland winning team, sure. I've got no idea what these people are feeling.
I mean the crowds.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's 90,000 people. It's just unbelievable.
And does Shane Dowling get an All-Star? I mean,
if you play that well in an All-Ireland final, you've got to be in the conversation.
And in every game, the tiny little sample size you're given, on a points per minute ratio, you're probably the highest scorer ever in the history of the game.
Well, it's true, yeah. The thing about the All-Stars is that the amount of full hurling games that have been viewed by everybody this year.
It's true, yeah.
So might kind of skew things a little bit away from All-Ireland winners. But then, you look at these scenes, you look what a special team this is, and it's very, very hard to take it away from anybody who might be in the mix for an All-Star.
They are so young.
Well, that's the thing. It's you would put full faith in the likes of John Kiley to be able to handle whatever is coming next,
Yeah.
whatever is around the corner, this youth, it's
Kiley-
youth, but it's experienced youth. Like, you look at Cian Lynch, who's been around for a few years, you know, it's like they've seen hard days. It's not like kind of beginner's luck or anything like that.
Kylie made the point that when they came out of Division 1B that they were really excited about the way the championship was going to be structured because they're a young team that recover quickly. And like, even when they weren't in the Munster final, I definitely did think that not going through the Munster final and winning or losing that massive occasion, because it was the Munster final associated with this year's championship, was the right thing for that team. It was like, okay, calm down everybody, just calm down. Big games left. A game against Carlow, perfect. A game against Kilkenny, also the perfect kind of trajectory for them. So, I don't know, it all worked out pretty well for them.
I think there might be a template in that. Like, it's a very hard one to achieve to come third in that round robin group.
For different teams, I think. So, like Tipperary next year, they need to win it.
I think Cork this year could have done without winning it.
Probably, yeah. And not having that sense of...
It's been very much smarter in the kind of aftermath of it all, though, given the fact that it was literally a draw against Limerick. So,
From Cork's perspective, yeah. But from Limerick, like, we did say it on the show at the time that this isn't them gone at all. There's a good chance they're going to be coming roaring through the back door. One more video for you from the homecoming yesterday. Here's John Kiley. Take it away.
Well, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me. He's making love to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can't you play me a melody? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. And we'll go la 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 la. Come on, sing it up. La 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 la. Oh, sing us a song, you're the piano man. Oh, sing us a song tonight, 'cause we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright. Well, now John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and he's quick with a joker and light up your smoke, but there's some place that he'd rather be.
School principal leading the entire Gaelic grounds in Piano Man. I mean, he must be feeling pretty good about life.
May even top the whole process of being an All-Ireland winning manager, actually having a stadium full of people singing with you. It's like, I've just replicated the likes of Brian Cody and all the greats when it comes to being an All-Ireland winning manager. Now I'm Bruce Springsteen.
I mean, come on.
This is peak life.
It's like, there's this 1 minute where I get to feel like a rock star because of what we've done. That's not bad.
They all get to feel like rock stars for the next 6 months, basically. And like, maybe... Like, could I just like postpone next year or something? Just be like, you know what? We're not going to partake in any competitive hurling this year. We're going to celebrate for the full year.
A perpetual 2018.
We'll see you in 2020, everyone.
Okay, OTB AM is live with Screwfix.ie, championing the trade with a choice of over 20,000 quality trade products. This is definitely going to be the most controversial thing that we've ever done on any of the programmes that any of us have ever been involved in over the years. We're now pitting all of the great Irish sports ads against one another so that we can crown a world champion of Irish sports endorsements.
It's also the most important thing any of us will ever be involved in. Far more important than that Liam McCarthy crap that we've just been watching there. This is the real trophy up for grabs this week. It is the best TV ads featuring Irish sports people. The criteria is simple. If you're Irish and appeared in an ad that's relatively funny and that happens to be on YouTube, well, then you're in the mix. So it's a very simple criteria, and we've gathered 16 of the best TV ads in the history of Irish sports featuring Irish sports people from all the way back in the 1980s to just last year. I think that the most recent one was released just in 2017. So we've got a fine mix, and we'll get stuck right in to the last 16. It's very simple. It's a straight knockout at this stage of the tournaments. So our first contender this morning is advertising one of the most novel ways of improving your golf swing. It's quite a recent ad. It was released this decade, and you may have seen it on things like QTV at 3 o'clock in the morning. Take it away, Padraig Harrington.
Padraig, you've been playing great golf recently. What's your secret?
I've been practicing with the golf swing shirt.
I believe it's the best swing trainer ever invented.
Did you say golf swing shirt?
Yes, the golf swing shirt. It's for men, women and children of all ages and sizes. The golf swing shirt helps you become a great ball striker by helping you learn a reliable and repeatable golf swing. Play great golf now with the golf swing shirt.
Visit golfswingshirt.com to order yours today.
I think you can still get the golf swing shirt online if you're interested.
Can you?
My favourite part about that ad is whatever the Wanamaker ripoff is to the left of Padraig Harrington on screen. It's got like a pointy top. I've got no idea what that is.
The website still works.
And I think Padraig Harrington's face is still on the website.
No, it's somebody else. Raymond Rapkovich, amateur golfer, founder of Golf Swing Shirt.
Right, okay. So he's been relegated to mere testimonial status, Padraig Harrington. So he is the first contender. You're probably wondering...
Still the first one. Still the first testimonial. Yeah.
Still the first and only. We'll see now who Padraig Harrington is up against. He's got a tricky tie here in the last 16. He is up against a behemoth of the Irish sporting TV catalogue. It is the man himself. It is the honorary Irishman. It is Jack Charlton. And here he is in one of many ads that he'll be featured in this countdown. Here he is featuring for Bank of Ireland.
When you're taking on foreign opposition, you need to be prepared. If you're travelling abroad, make sure you're prepared by talking to Bank of Ireland about your foreign exchange, traveller's checks and credit card needs. They'll give you all the support you want. Going abroad, be prepared.
Be prepared indeed with Bank of Ireland. Jack Charlton there up against Padraig Harrington and his golf swing shirt in their first tie. Who's getting your vote?
Harrington, that's not like, there's nothing in the Bank of Ireland ad beyond like a list of stuff that you can do and a photograph of him and some chanting from the USA.
You think it should have been knocked out for Scalacci?
Oh, absolutely.
In hindsight, you're probably right. It was Jack Charlton though, so I got kind of wowed by the aura that would have been the restitution that might have been exacted on me had I left Jack Charlton out.
There's loads more Charlton, right?
Well, there's one other Jack Charlton.
Well, so he was already in. You've knocked out one of the best self-deprecating, funny, like.
But Toto Scalacci is not Irish. Jack Charlton.
The two lads sitting at the bar are totally Irish. It had Dave O'Leary and who was the other one?
Ray Houghton.
Ray Houghton. There you go.
Okay, fair enough. Points heard. Hopefully Padraig Harrington pulls through and we won't have to... Hopefully this doesn't become a scandal.
Well, if Jack Charlton wins, I'm subbing in Toto Scalacci.
You can't do that. If the people vote for Jack Charlton,
No. If he wins, what we're going to do is go, okay, accidentally you're getting knocked out on some kind of technicality.
No.
He's failed a drug test, Maradona style, USA 94, a bit of clenbuterol injected into a system by the FBI or the CIA to...
Are you saying Jack Charlton's a doper?
In this context, I'm saying that we're going to inject that Bank of Ireland ad with some clenbuterol and he'll get subbed in for Toto
Now that
Scalacci.
is financial doping.
There you go.
So earlier on we showed you an ad from the Irish Times which didn't quite make the cut. It was Brian O'Driscoll talking about how there's 6 teams in the 5 nations, blah 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 blah. We liked the idea. The execution probably just wasn't up to scratch, but the execution in this Irish Times ad is bang on, it's witty, it's sharp, it's Brian Kerr.
Good boy, keep your eye on it. Little chip, I love it. Oh, unlucky. Glenn, any time today.
The main thing that kids like these need is encouragement.
Right, Sam, good boy.
That's why I'm delighted to see a paper like this give so much space to them. And you can really impress your own kids when you know how many points they need to do experimental physics with archaeology.
You'd be surprised why people really read the Irish Times.
Now, when I said it was witty, I meant not witty at all, of course.
No, it's got that little bit at the end there.
No, it does.
Experimental science.
Well, was that a joke?
Archaeology.
Maybe not. I don't know. I think that course needs to be taken very, very seriously, Ger. It's an all-football clash in this second round of 16 matchup. The other person that's going up against Brian Kerr is another big name in the advertising industry, a big name who's been in a lot of ads. It is Niall Quinn, and here is his legendary Lucozade ad.
You sweat. And when you lose body fluid, you lose the edge. But you don't accept second best. Take Lucozade Sport, the one that's isotonic, to replace body fluids fast. Lucozade Sport, the one that sharpens your edge.
Oh, wow. I don't remember that one at all, really. I remember John Barnes had a Lucas Sport ad. That was amazing.
Yeah, the John Barnes one is a tad better. I like that one though. I like the old kind of policy of just shoving things into cameras, literally, to sell things. It's like, what can we do to get that person at the other side of the lens to buy the thing? Just shove it in their face, literally, and they will buy it. You know, I've drank many a bottle of Lucas Sport, so you know the advertising works.
The graphics kind of they stopped about here, and John Barnes went the whole way down to show a six-pack. It was like,
Well, if you got it, you flaunt it. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
Who's getting your vote in that matchup? Niall Quinn or Brian Kerr? It's the weak side of the draw. I'm not going to lie.
I like the old the fact that he's in his Man City shirt, but it looks like it's filmed at the old Lansdowne Road. You know, it's like, and they've managed to fake the fact that it's not an actual Division 1 game as it would have been back then. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Niall Quinn.
Niall Quinn, yeah, it's good. There's going to be like an England emerging from this side of the draw. I've just realised that I've made a very light side of the draw. The next clash, though.
Sorry, Mina Raiola's been on Twitter this morning.
Yeah?
I didn't actually know he was on Twitter, but he said, some people need to talk for fear of being forgotten. Paul Scholes wouldn't recognise a leader if he was in front of Sir Winston Churchill, full stop, at Paul Pogba.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is one hell of a put down on Paul Scholes.
Yeah, sounds good.
I did not know Mina Raiola was on Twitter. I need to follow him immediately.
Only the 37 tweets, but he's got a little blue tick, so
the story rumbles on. While you're kind of brushing up on your Mina Raiola Twitter, the nature of his Twitter and his tweets.
Paul Scholes should become sports director and advise Woodward to sell Pogba. Would be sleepless nights to find Pogba a new club. At Paul Pogba. What is Mina Raiola doing?
When was that?
Now. He's like, and he was on Twitter an hour ago, so 7:43. So 8:43, 9. So it was like, he's on the European continent, I suspect, somewhere. And
it might be liquid lunchtime wherever he is, and he's just decided to take out his phone and, you know, make a bit of money for himself.
Hasn't tweeted since July, other than that, though. So there you go. There's the tweets. It's like, it's gone. Yeah, so that's crazy.
Imagine that being your life, where you can just pick up your phone at 7:30 in the morning and say, I'm going to...
Screw you.
Yeah.
I'm getting you out of that, don't worry. Those guys, they don't know what they have. Paul, I've got your back. By attacking Paul Scholes, who's buddies with everybody else in the British media and has his own like weekly opportunity to slaughter Pogba on TV. Not the best move by an agent.
No, but it might be a move that gets him
out of there.
50 million euro next week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, that's what I mean. Imagine waking up and saying, I fancy another 15 mil there. Just going to send out a tweet here and job done. It would be quite a caving in from Ed Woodward to actually go ahead with that. Shall we move on? Because we've got the Clash of Death.
Yes. Let's go.
Clash of Death. The first ad in this Clash of Death is... Oh, now, this is a legendary ad, and this isn't even being tongue-in-cheek. This is Dennis Hickey, and this is Waven Pipe.
Montage at the end.
Make the right connections.
That is a classic. That's an all-time classic.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's, I'm sure, like, I wouldn't be the only person if I was working in a building site to actually be running around with a Waven pipe like a ball.
Taking restarts. Was he also the scrum half, or was that somebody else?
He was scrum half as well.
Okay.
And then he received the pass as well, I think.
That's class.
It's just amazing, the ever-present...
This is a shoe-in, though, surely. Who's this up against?
Well, the thing is, the opposition could get a bit of a clamour for votage. That's the technical term for it, because he's a rather popular man. He's probably the most famous of all the sports people in this. It is also the most recent ad. It is the Burger King ad featuring Conor McGregor from just last year.
All this chicken and king talk swirling around out there. It's got me really fired up. I'm fired up to try this new spicy, crispy chicken sandwich from this king. There's no doubt I'm gonna destroy this thing.
That's the left palm.
So spicy and crispy and juicy, it just doesn't stand a chance.
Probably taken from USD.
From one king to another, This packs a real kick. Spicy. Introducing the new spicy crispy chicken sandwich. Only at Burger King. Oh, and by the way, thanks for all the trash talk, guys. You just put Connor Jr. through college.
Like, what does that mean? What thanks for all the trash talk? You put my son through college. So, like, I can't figure this out. It's
it must be a Floyd Mayweather thing, is it? It's like, so Floyd, you trash talk me. Everybody bought pay-per-views, and now I'm rich enough to be able to afford a place in American college, which is ridiculously expensive in the preserve of the middle class elite.
I'm not quite sure, is it dreadfully unfunny or is it actually kind of funny?
Well, so Vice did this full takedown where they arrive at the conclusion that it's brilliant because it's so shit.
Yeah, I would kind of concur with that.
You do get around to the point of like, actually, you know what? I mean, come on.
A lot of these are brilliant because they're shit. The next two, though, are brilliant because they're just brilliant, really. It concludes the top half of the draw. It is the Jason McAteer derby. So it's two legendary ads, as we said, one legendary Irish football player. The first one is the one that Ger was talking about a little bit earlier on. It was Dreams in 2002.
I can't believe he did it. McAteer with a cross. And there's the goal!
Ireland took their place in the last 16.
Yes! It's goodbye Spain! Hello Argentina! Robbie King has put Ireland into the semi-final against England.
Heart to send England home.
Woohoo! Remember that moment well.
Nation waits. McAteer, still McAteer. And McAteer has done it! Brazil nil, Ireland 1.
How did they do that?
They said it was impossible, but nobody told Jason McAteer.
Carlsberg don't do dreams, but if we did, they would probably be the best dreams in the world.
It's brilliant.
It is
that is like Bookie's favourite right now to bring this entire thing home.
You've got to put yourself back in the like, this ad drops out of nowhere. There's no like, oh, we're doing this amazing World Cup ad, it's going to blow your mind. It's just like, it just goes on TV and you're like,
Just watching Winning Streak one night and suddenly it just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
It is special. Like, it is, like, without question, probably the best beer in the world, but
that goal that he scores from the Amsterdam Arena in the 2-2 draw at the start of the qualifying campaign to win the World Cup against Brazil, that goal is actually against, obviously against Holland, but it's a beautiful, brilliant team goal. Like, when we had this first flush, we went 2-0 up in that game, like, and suddenly it's like, wow, we've got a really good football team. And he played brilliantly that night.
Yeah, I'm still convinced that time never existed. Was it real? Was it ever real? Was it all a dream? Maybe the Carlsberg ad was actually just an honest state of mind.
Time is a flat circle.
Exactly. So as I said there, Carlsberg probably the best beer in the world, but there's no question, there's no probablys about this. Wash and Go, definitely the best shampoo in the world. It's Jason McAteer, up against Jason McAteer in a Wash and Go ad this time.
Not a fair contest.
Jason McAteer
gives it his all. When he plays, people watch. And when people are watching him, the one thing he won't tolerate is dandruff. That's why he now uses Wash and Go Anti-Dandruff. Because with new look Wash and Go Anti-Dandruff,
it's not even Head and Shoulders.
Everything in one.
What?
Excellent
Did Wash and Go get subsumed by Head and Shoulders?
No, I don't think so.
That's also dandruff-free. Jason knows.
It seems like something you get paid for.
They had it worse.
Wash and Go.
So Wash and Go is like, this is the end.
And now there's new Wash and Go Solo. Shampoo.
Oh, that's not Jason McAteer.
Not even him.
Without conditioner. New Wash and Go Solo.
What?
Simply shampoo.
I didn't know they had a Wash and Go without conditioner. The whole point was, their tagline before that was, take 2 bottles into the shower. Not me. I just wash and go. Because it was shampoo and conditioner into one thing.
Yeah.
But now it's like, we've taken the conditioner out of our Wash and Go. Now it's just wash.
Now you've got to bring a second bottle in with you.
What's so stupid?
You've got to buy a second bottle of Wash and Go. It's like, people love watching this guy, but people don't like watching this guy with dandruff. It's great. It's a great little tagline. Who's winning that tie for you?
It's like McAteer a 6-0. McAteer wins 6-0 with
Carlsberg, is it?
Yeah, not even close.
So earlier on we showed you Sean Kelly. He didn't make the cut, but his fellow cyclist Stephen Roach, he couldn't be overlooked really for this magnificent effort for being in an ad. It is Galty Cheese. Have a look at this.
Who's this guy who wants a cheese sandwich? I give you a cheese sandwich. I give you the best salty cheese sandwich you ever taste.
Galty cheese. Bodybuilding blocks from Mitchelstown.
It's the laugh at the end, really, which is just the key line there. And Stephen Roach doing nothing at all, just looking up at the chef, and he nails it.
So 87, 88, winter of 87, early 88, that comes out.
Yeah.
Boom, Galty cheese sales through the roof.
If we were going to recreate that, we could absolutely nail it. Like, I could absolutely nail the Stephen Roach role in that ad, no question. And I'm sure I'd get a bit of money for it as well. Up against Stephen Roach now is the legend of the endorsement game once again. We're going to have to play these back to back to back to back. It is Jack Charlton once again, but this time it's shredded wheat. And it's not one, it's not two, but it's three shredded wheat ads. These are all amazing, so we said we just have to throw them all in. But it is just one entry. It's Jack Charlton and shredded wheat.
When I was Jack the lad, shredded wheat helped give me what I needed. But now I'm Jack the man, my needs are different. I still want brand fibre, no added sugar or salt, and 100% whole wheat. So, shredded wheat's the only one for me. Hey, I like to keep the best players for my team.
Shredded wheat and bite size too. There is no better cereal.
Round here, we're all fans of shredded wheat, because it's got that taste you only get from 100% whole wheat with nothing added. In fact, my Pat says hot milk brings out the wheaty taste. Me and our Pete, we dig in while the wheat's good and crunchy. He's a chip off the old block, that one. Shredded wheat and bite size too. There is no better cereal. It's Sunday morning and I'm preparing my favourite breakfast. The main ingredient has to be shredded wheat. Just 100% whole wheat with no added sugar or salt. And then, only 'cause it's Sunday mine, I add just the top of the milk. And I sit in my favourite chair. I don't mind another chair, but I wouldn't want another cereal. Shredded wheat and bite size. There is no better cereal.
I had a topping of what? Milk. Because it's Sunday.
I think so, yeah.
So it's dry otherwise. See?
Not quite sure. The poor dog there just getting completely overlooked.
I don't think these two should have been up against each other.
Why? Stephen Roach and...
I think Stephen Roach should be definitely through to the next round, but he probably is going to lose a popularity contest here. That Stephen Roach video, like, again, you've got to remember, there is no Irish sports endorsements before 1987 of any significance, because we had done literally nothing on the global sports stage at that point. Like, everything... So... there had controversially been Kerry doing Adidas and Hot Point, I think.
No, not Hot Point. Something ending in X. Somebody will remind us.
Blendex?
Close enough.
Bendix.
Bendix.
That's it. I thought it was Hot Point. But anyway, yeah, okay, right. So washing machines and tracksuits, and they had been absolutely pilloried for it. So nothing else happened. And then he wins 3 things in a year, and suddenly companies go, maybe if we associated our product with that guy, everybody seems to love that guy. And that ad was actually legitimately funny.
Yeah.
I mean, again, at the time, the high watermark of Irish comedy is Bottler and Frank Carson. So, a low base, right? So that
a
is
chef
like
doing a French accent is
high art.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fucking high art, right? So, I think it just deserves its place too. Everything else just pours out afterwards. Some of the other stuff that we're about to see, we're going to see the Irish Permanent Liam Brady one.
Yeah, we'll see that in a little while. We'll just see who the opponent is for that first.
Grand. So I would definitely say, the other thing about the Jack Charlton one is they're not Irish ads. They're actually carried on ITV. Like, they're proper UK ads, because he's a proper English folk hero from '66 who now is like doing a great job with that crappy Irish football team. They beat us. I mean, that was a fluke, obviously. It's not, the patronising. So if we could switch to Jack Charlton, and anyway.
Well, like, you've made an awful lot of complaints about this structure, and I've had enough of championship structure chat on this show. So it is the way it is, and we are proceeding with this. Vote for it, whatever it is. If Roach is going to get your nostalgia,
I want Stephen Roach through. He gets my nostalgia vote.
Like, you're really influencing the public here.
I'm lobbying. My 11-year-old self thought that was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
You wouldn't see the host of the Eurovision talking down the lens of the camera saying, vote for this, would you?
Well, yeah.
Like, that's the integrity mark we need to use throughout all of this. So you mentioned there it's going to be Irish Permanent in just a moment, but we'll see who their opponent is first. It's Niall Quinn coming back into the fold with one of the most technologically advanced internet products we have ever seen.
You know, it's great living in the countryside, but for a lot of people, that means little or no broadband coverage. Well, not anymore. A new low-cost satellite broadband is available if your location can pass this simple test. Can you see the sky? QSat is my company.
and I stand over our broadband service. But if you're not completely satisfied, you can cancel your contract within 30 days. So call us in Cork today to get connected.
Class.
I'm sorry, I think can you see the skyline is probably I'm probably the only one who finds that really, really funny. I was certainly the only one laughing in here at that. Coming up against Niall Quinn, as Cher's already spoiled, it is going to be Liam Brady and Kevin Moran. Kevin Moran, in this instance, has clearly been using a little bit of Duolingo. Here they are advertising Irish Permanent.
Good morning.
Morning. Whether you're coming or going, you can get traveller's checks and foreign currency notes from any Irish Permanent branch office. How are your foreign languages coming on? No problem. Burro de change.
Big enough to take on the world. What I really miss from ads is like taglines being sung. The Irish Permanent, the People's Choice, and it's like 10 seconds.
Pat the Baker was the last great tagline being sung.
So Fresh is famous.
Yeah. They kind of do it as kind of like as a piss take nowadays, don't they?
Do you think is that Euro 88 or is it Italian 90? Oh, it can't be. Could it be Italian 90? No, it has to be Euro 88 because he's gone. Brady gets. Oh no, hang on. Italian 90 is the one that he get infect out for. He's still in and around the squad. Gets sent off in the Bulgaria game. Maybe it is. Maybe it's before the Euros, is it?
I would say Euro 88 is what that ad was before. Who are you voting for there? Obviously that one over Niall Quinn CUSAT.
Probably.
Yeah. Even though the singing, Can You See the Sky?
The singing does it.
The Can You See the Skyline is my favourite line in all of any Irish ad ever. So Eamon Dunphy, we had to give him one entry into this. Well, there's only one ad of him on YouTube, so this is the one that we've chosen. He only gets his voice into this, but I think everybody's going to, well, not me, but maybe you and your fellow age group will get a pang of nostalgia off this. Here is some champion cheese and Eamon Dunphy.
You can be a First Division champion with healthy champion cheese from Golden Vale. It's packed with protein, calcium and vitamins to keep you on your toes. Champion cheese from Golden Vale. It's a bit special.
Class.
It is a bit special.
It's clearly a performance enhancer. Makes your toes bigger, or makes your head grow.
Makes
your muscles pop.
It's not as performance enhancing as the clenbuterol that was injected into that Bank of Ireland ad that you alleged earlier on in the show. But we better park that one there for fear of any lawsuits. But
Chris McCann at Cantoy, how you doing, Chris? Says top the milk, not topping of milk. That's where the cream would settle in an old pint of full cream.
Ah,
remember this?
Yep.
You in your hoop.
No, I don't.
Isn't a clue what we're talking about?
No, not a notion.
So a bottle of milk would arrive, right? And the nice bit at the top would actually be much creamier than the rest of it. It would kind of settle up.
Obviously, yeah. That's just like before, like the factory nature of milk, right?
Yeah.
Like I've don't worry, I've drank milk like that. Sure, I'm not like completely uncultured.
Go on anyway.
What have we got? So that was Eamon Dunphy
versus.
It's like this is going to be a tough side. I think this actually might be the closest one. He's up against the mighty Eddie O'Sullivan and the more mighty More EPA.
In life as in sport, results come down to the performance of individual parts. You need heart and an active brain to function effectively. That's why I take Moripa omega-3 fish oil capsules. Moripa has proven to be good for everybody's heart and brain, and with up to 6 times more EPA than other fish oil capsules, just one Moripa a day will do the job, which makes a great value for money. For purity, quality and value, I choose
6 times more from one a day. Moripa.
Wow, they are also singing 6 times more than in one a day. Wow.
That is kind of a contemporary classic. They should have that on loop in, I don't know, some modern art museum somewhere on the continent, because that's just a work of art. That tagline as well is just a work of art. It's probably my favourite ad in there, and
Is it?
I'm pushing that one out to win that tie up against the great Eamon Dunphy.
Dunphy's champion cheese. That has to.
The nostalgia vote is going to be a powerful thing here. Finally, it's our last tie of the last 16 here of the World Cup of Irish Sporting TV ads.
How does this work now? Sorry, you need to explain how this competition works.
Twitter polls. So you just got to log on to Twitter. We will have a poll for each of the 8 ties. You've got to vote for which one's your favourite, and then the quarterfinals will be up, I don't know, tomorrow? Probably tomorrow. At some point this week. And we will crown the winner of the World Cup of Irish Sporting Endorsements later on in the week. So our last clash is the Farmer Derby. So it's this legendary Keprivan ad, which I'm sure a lot of people will remember. It's featuring the skillage of John Fenton first.
Powerful, reliable, economical. Keprivan. Keprivan is the mighty one you can really rely on. Just one treatment of Keprivan smashes mastitis. Through 4 weeks, through 6 weeks, throughout the 8-week dry period, right up to calving. Nothing else gives all-round, longer-lasting protection. Keprivan, the long-lasting dry cow protection.
It's like hurling. Oh, random meat footballer. Is Liam Harlan, is he a farmer? Is that what it was? Was that what happened?
I presume so. I presume he's well accustomed to the ways of Keprivan.
Are you the farmer? Yeah, seems to be, yeah.
You can't wave a flag in a Keprivan ad unless you know how to use Keprivan, is probably what the producers were thinking there. It's a strong contender. It's it's up there in the top 2 farming ads up there, but there's another farmer going up against him.
It gets into there, like it's a classic. It's definitely a classic of the genre.
There's a modern classic going up against it though, and another popular Irish sports person. So it's a hello to you, Sean O'Brien, and it's hello to Supermax.
Irish food is at the heart of what we stand for in Supermax. We only buy beef from Irish farmers we know and trust.
That's why Irish beef is so tasty, with the quality of grass we have and the climate we live in.
Take our new 5-ounce burger, for example. It's delivered directly into our restaurants. Fresh, never frozen.
Freezing causes meat to lose moisture, Pat. When you lose moisture, you lose flavour.
I'm really proud of this new burger. 100% Irish beef, fresh and cooked to order. Now, which of our competitors can say that?
The new Supermax 5-ounce beef burger. Perfection.
I mean, there's a charm to that one too, right?
There is. Like, that is one hell of a battle, like John Fenton against Sean O'Brien. I'm sorry I actually made the top of the draw so weak, and I'm sorry I left Scalacci Smithix out, but you know, you can only do what you can do.
We're sticking Scalacci Smithix straight through to the quarterfinals as the winner of the...
Gets a bye.
Yeah.
First round bye. Yeah, so we'll put up polls for all those clashes of the last 16 in the World Cup of Sporting Endorsements featuring Irish sports people that maybe aren't Irish because, you know, Toto Scalacci and Jack Charlton are in there, but you can get them on our Twitter page. We'll put up a separate poll for each clash.
At Off the Ball AM on Twitter. GA Handball Ireland has been in touch to say, it was obviously over the course of the weekend, Killian Carroll ended up winning the All-Irish World Championship final in the States. He won 21-16, 21-18 in the final, and so congratulations to him. Obviously, we had Paul Brady in advance of that. I think Paul was beaten in the semi-finals, but not a bad way to go out after being the world champion on multiple occasions.
Mick McCarthy's first touch has been in touch to say, lads, what about the Dunphy and Giles Cadbury ad?
Oh, yeah.
Can't believe it. Can't believe we've forgotten the Dunphy and Giles Cadbury ad.
You know what we can do? We can have like our World Cup, and then there'll be like
repechage.
Exactly, for the ones that we were too dumb to remember.
Oh my God. That is a big oversight on my part, and I can't use youth as an excuse for that one, unfortunately.
No, you definitely
can't. That's embarrassing. Next year maybe. I'm sure this is getting a call back for next year, the World Cup of Irish Sporting Endorsements featuring Irish or non-Irish sports people.
Yeah. Were there any others that didn't make the cut, or is that literally the exhaustive list of all the ones that you found?
I know there's plenty more. I just don't have them handy in front of me, to be quite honest with you. I have it on my phone here. There was plenty others. Like, there was tons and tons and tons of them. There was just like not enough room for them, and ultimately I'm kind of like looking at the reactions to a few of these, and I'm like, I could have made a few different decisions with a few of these. So here's a list of some of the things that didn't make the cut whatsoever. So you had a great Vodafone ad a few years ago featuring Sean Boylan and Paddy O'Shea.
Oh yeah, there was, I think Galvin's in it, Conor Mortimer's in it.
I'm not sure, is that the same one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I watched it this morning. He's reading Rudyard Kipling's If.
Ah, yes.
You can't be listening to that when you're a little bit tired.
No. So Sean Boylan narrates that ad. It would have been a good addition, but it just felt, it wasn't like tangibly there with its product enough for me. Like, there was no Niall Quinn pointing to the sky in that, you know. That was the kicker in that. you know what I mean?
Yeah, like with
Sean Boylan's ad is probably too good.
With the exception of the Carlsberg We Win the World Cup ad, none of these were really ad agency ads that were designed by people who are thinking, I'm going to make something really good and emotionally connect with people. The way the Carlsberg one did, the Vodafone one is actually a brilliant ad as well.
Yeah, it is. The other one, another one that was left out was another Brian O'Driscoll one, the Brian O'Driscoll promoting the Gillette Pro Glide. Himself and Johnny Wilkinson burst out of a toilet cubicle and scare a man in the toilet, and they're like, do you want to try Gillette Pro Glide?
A bit weird,
but it didn't really feel like a proper TV ad. It felt like more kind of like a
but also,
thing.
One of the guys shakes their hands.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure if he's already washed his hands. It's like, oh yeah, I'll happily shake you my piss-stained hand.
It's a good observation. There's a number of Roy Keane Pepsi ones, but we felt it was...
The Roy Keane, the Man United, like...
Yeah, it's too Manchester United.
I've completely forgotten about that.
Yeah, they're not Irish enough for me.
Well, but like, did that air here?
I'm not quite... I certainly remember like the Pepsi ones with Edgar Davids on the beach and stuff.
Yeah, but
but I presume that was the same campaign previous to that, no?
But it's like inside a Man United dressing room, they're 3-0 down at half-time.
Yeah.
And Alex Ferguson is like, I can't believe that we're 3-0 down, we're Manchester United at half-time. He's actually giving the team talk in the ad.
But it's not a real team talk.
No, of course not.
It was just making sure that you weren't...
Where's all your passion and commitment and enthusiasm and like... And then he starts to throw out the cans of Pepsi and they all catch him like a... And Dennis Irwin is like, come on, Keaney. and it's the best team. It's the best